Warning, the following video will contain spoilers for an episode of Miraculous Ladybug. If you want my recommendation, watch the episode I am watching before continuing on with this video. But if you don't care about spoilers, then just sit back and enjoy.
Okay, I finally got the Illustrator review done, and I finally got my haircut. Though I could have been less repetitive with the ending. Until then, this is ASLB, and this is ASLB. Now I just need a film to calm myself down. Like, Rogercop? What is this doing here? Nah, too violent. I need a feel-good movie, like Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Yeah, that's a good feel-good movie. I'm watching Rogercop. Yeah, it was only a matter of time before I do something different on this channel, so why not do something that isn't meant for kids? One moment. Okay, just because I don't want the Rogercop Blu-ray to turn into the Miraculous Ladybug DVD, I'm just going to do the review in the studio. So why don't we have a look at Rogercop? It's the Miraculous DVD, isn't it? I'll go get the Coke. Oh, screw you and that half-baked excuse! Hello everybody and welcome back to my Miraculous Marathon. Really? Rogercop? Of all the things that I expected them to parody, I would not have expected them to go this route. But they did. They went that route. I have no idea why. For those who weren't born in 1987 or have missed out, Rogercop was a 1987 sci-fi action movie directed by Paul Verhoeven about a Detroit cop named Alex Murphy who gets turned into the titular Rogercop after being massacred by a bunch of gang members. And by massacred, I really do mean massacred! And what do I think of it? I love it! Yeah, some of the effects are dated, the Ed 209 stop motion is worse than the AT-AT walkers and Empire Strikes Back, and what is up with these arms? But the rest of the movie has aged pretty well. It's a very nice story on what it means to be human, with a good amount of corporal and cultural satire. I would highly recommend it to anybody, but be warned, because this is one of the most violent movies that you will have ever seen. How violent? Let me put it to you this way. This film was almost given an NC-17 rating just for the violence alone. Pretty violent. Even with its violence, it was still a huge box office success, and it spawned a TV show, animated series, 2 sequels, video games, merchandise, a crossover with Terminator, and a 2014 reboot, which was the first Rogercop film that I ever saw. I'm a miserable little boy. And the reason why I'm telling you about this movie is because there is no reason! Because this villain has nothing to do with Rogercop aside from the name! So let's just stop wasting time so I can waste more time watching this episode and entertaining you all at my own personal expense, and have a look at Episode 9, Rogercop. So we begin this episode with Marinette and her dad getting ready for school. We're to start to the episode, am I right? It's career day at Francois DuPont, and a few students have a chance to bring their parents over so they can talk about their careers. Though we only see Marinette's dad, Alia's mom, Chloe's dad, and Sabrina's dad, who I brought up in my Mr. Pigeon review. Roger Rain-Compré, voiced by Christopher Smith. Yeah, one guy does the voice of 2 dads in this series, let alone this episode. I mean, I'm not complaining, he does the voices pretty well, so yeah. Oh yeah, and Gabriel's a no-show. What an asshole! But back to Roger, he is a cop who is a firm believer that
every citizen is innocent until proven guilty.
Now remember this line, because trust me, this will be important for later scenes. And I'm telling you this now because everybody's going to forget it later on. So everything seems to be going pretty well today. Well, okay, except for Marinette not giving Adrian a croissant. Seriously, it's way too early for the hashtag! So why don't we cut to Plague being stupid? Wait, what? Yeah, apparently Andre bought his daughter an expensive bracelet because she is spoiled. And when Plague sees her put it in the bag, he decides to go into it thinking that it's a Camembert box. Okay, it's a little bit stupid so far, but hopefully when Plague sees it and realizes it's not a Camembert box, he'll probably just fly back to age. Plague opens the box, plays with the bracelet, and gets it stuck on his head. And when Chloe notices her bracelet is gone, she accuses Marinette of stealing it.
You purposefully tripped on my bag so you could steal my bracelet! You're a policeman! Arrest her!
Chloe, if you're really going to demand the cop to arrest her right after he says,
I firmly believe that every citizen is innocent until proven guilty.
there is no hope for you. Oh, you thought I was kidding. Oh no, I want you to remember that scene.
My daughter is not a thief.
Forget the phone! I haven't erased the message yet! We're out of...
Tom, you and I need to have a talk. So Chloe has her father force Roger to search Marinette even though it's against the law. How ironic that a cop will not illegally search someone without a warrant or consent. And yet a cop in Utah would arrest a nurse for not allowing the police to draw blood from an unconscious patient. Which, by the way, is illegal without the patient's consent, a warrant, or if the patient in question is being arrested. Yeah, I've done my research. And much like that incident, Roger refuses. So the mayor abuses his power and promptly fires Roger for not following orders, causing Hawkmoth to hear his despair and send in Akuma to make him his minion.
Fly away, my evil little Akuma, and take control of this policeman.
Yeah, you know how I keep on saying that Chloe is the worst? Well, her father isn't any better. If anything, he could actually be worse. Well, he's still not as bad as Lady...
Nope.
Rogercop, I am Hawkmoth. This city needs a true ruthless righter of wrongs, and that is where you come in.
Yes, sir.
So the Akuma possesses his whistle and he turns into Rogercop. Part man, part machine, all flop. He's okay. His design is a bit goofy, but it's serviceable even if this woman thinks otherwise.
Who are you anyway? You don't look like a policeman.
Clearly Miss Mendeleev had her fight or flight sense surgically removed before becoming a teacher. And his powers aren't really anything to write home about, but they are clever and again, serviceable. He can shoot anyone with special cuffs that can control and sentence them to do whatever. Like doing trash duty or making this guy run for hours on end, probably leading him to die from dehydration, exhaustion, and
Heart failure!
So he's an officer, a judge, and a jury. Wait a minute. This isn't paying tribute to RoboCop. This is paying tribute to the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie! Don't believe me? Listen!
I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. I am the law.
Okay, before you guys correct me, yes, I know that he said this in the 2012 version.
I am the law.
But I guess it doesn't matter anyway, because no matter how you look at it, he isn't freaking RoboCop!
I mean, what do I even say to this? Well, nothing. Because this isn't even the biggest problem that I have with this episode. So why don't we see exactly what that is? Good God, I'm going to get a migraine. While this is going on, the entire class is now discussing who really stole the bracelet, with Marinette still defending herself from Chloe's unfair accusations against her. She does this by listing the motives of certain classmates, including Sabrina, who is still Chloe's best friend even after the mayor wrongfully fired her father!
I'm Chloe's BFF. I wouldn't steal from her.
I would also never question why she would ever have my father lose his job for simply standing by the law.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm sorry for subjecting you to that.
And the Tomato Boy himself. Rubbing some salt in his wounds there, Marinette? And I know that this came out before Illustrator in other regions, but as I've said multiple times, I'm going by this order, so shut up and get into a hospital! However, Tom decides to intervene, and this is where the episode's biggest issue rears its ugly head.
Papa, she called me a thief! I'm just defending myself.
You're also accusing all of your friends like Chloe's doing to you.
Okay. I'll admit that Marinette being compared to Chloe is much funnier than it was in the previous episode, because, well, he's Marinette's father! But there is just one tiny problem that I have with what he said. She wasn't! In this scene, we're made to believe that Marinette was in the wrong and was accusing her friends like Chloe did to her. But in reality, what she was doing was nothing like what Chloe was doing. When Chloe accused Marinette, she did it on the spot. No evidence, no second thoughts, just accusing her right away, believing what she was saying is the truth.
You're calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Marinette, on the other hand, was a different story. She labeled everyone as suspects, including herself, used actual evidence, and was just trying to tell Chloe that she's just as guilty as everyone else in the classroom. But no! Tom thinks that what she's doing is wrong and calls her out for it. Bonus points for her being called out when she's not even labeling anyone specifically! Now yes, it is a bit unfair when she leaves Adrian out of the equation, especially since, well, disregarding Flag, he was the one who stole the bracelet, but still, she wasn't making accusations! She was just trying to get into Chloe's head that she, along with everyone else, is innocent until proven guilty! She was just trying to hold on to the same belief that Roger held before. No, wait, he still holds on to even after he was fired! But, speaking of Roger, when he enters the classroom, Marinette sneaks out of there and admits that what she's doing was wrong! Are you kidding me? Why would you suddenly conform to their beliefs when you weren't in the wrong to begin with?
Truth is, Tiki, I don't think any of us took it.
Oh, screw you and that half-baked excuse! Because Marinette's father works at a bakery and that joke is funny! So once her transformation sequence here, the mayor continues being the worst, Rogercop finds the mayor, and Ladybug steps in to save him.
I can't let you go around accusing everyone of every little wrongdoing!
I'm going to be saving my complaints about this for later. So the mayor escapes, and after a glorious failure from Ladybug, seriously, Cat Noir steps into the fight.
You are obstructing justice, Cat Noir. You are going to pay for this.
You can add bodily harm to the charges.
You know how one of the Miranda rights is anything you say can and will be held against you? You can bet I'll be saving this point for later. And of course, being the great hero of Paris, he gets his head handed to him.
Also, I am kind of satisfied with him being in the trash because that's where he belongs, but this is not natural.
So Ladybug continues to convince him that what he's doing is wrong, but unlike the bubbler, I choose not to believe her, and I just wish that she got what she deserves. Thankfully, Rogercop delivers. Okay. Knowing what's going to happen later on in this episode, this one moment is going to be my happy place from here on out. Can we play the clip again, please? I am so sadistic. So before Rogercop goes after the mayor, Chloe decides to go with him. Unfortunately, the duo survived and jump on top of his car. Oh yeah, and his car can fly and has autopilot. Has to beat traffic, eat donuts, and stop crime somehow! And we soon get a pretty awesome action scene with the duo trying to take down a human in a giant hunk of metal, and thankfully, it has a satisfying end to it.
Grab onto me!
No! Ladybug! What have you done?
What should have been done from the beginning. Wow, if I keep this up, I'm going to be one of the most hated YouTubers on the planet. And just as Roger tries to take his Miraculous, Cat Noir blocks the exhaust pipes and joins his lady's fate. Their funeral was cut short after Roger stepped into power. Their bodies were taken and never found again. The statue was destroyed. Hawkmoth took the Miraculouses. Or they just survived that because of main character immunity! And they do another ship tease, cause great, that's just what I want! Just That's better. So right when the duo makes a plan, Roger makes it to the mayor and demands that he steps down from his position or else his daughter will suffer.
So much for your powers. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, I just want to bring this up. I don't hate Christopher Smith's performance as Rogercop. I mean, it's perfectly fine, but the only problem that I have with it is that it's not really menacing. I mostly blame the direction for this, but either way, he isn't doing Peter Weller justice. Ha-ha! He's still better than Robo Knight, though. And wouldn't you know, the mayor steps down from his position and puts Rogercop in charge, allowing him to label Ladybug and Cat Noir as outlaws. Ladybug and Cat Noir are criminals. Just saying that feels so cathartic, it's not even funny.
So now we're the nation's most wanted felons?
We haven't done anything.
Exactly. You can't accuse someone without proof.
Okay, first off,
You can add bodily harm to the charges.
you pretty much implied that you were just guilty right there. And secondly, he hasn't! Being the villain of the series, we're made to believe that Rogercop is wrongfully accusing people of crimes they didn't commit. However, maybe with one exception, he hasn't made any accusations. His actions may not be rational, but he's still stuck with the belief that
Every citizen is innocent until proven guilty.
Fred Haprel was the only one that seemed the least guilty. Yes, he was trying to get Roger out of the school, but maybe Roger should have told him that there was a criminal in the school. Miss Mendeleev was guilty of jaywalking, crossing a red light, and littering, and he could prove this because he was literally watching her. Get it? And she even admits this right in front of him.
Well, I suppose I did.
But the worst offender is the mayor. Remember what Ladybug said earlier?
I can't let you go around accusing everyone of every little wrongdoing.
Yeah, turns out Ladybug had the wrong idea. The mayor did abuse his powers, some of which he didn't even have, to fire Roger for not illegally searching you, and it was wrong. He wasn't just a witness, he was a victim in all of this. And if you're going to say that he doesn't have evidence, might I add that he did this in front of an entire classroom. Also, I don't mean to rub this in, but you were there when that incident happened, you dense blue-haired idiot! And don't think that you two are innocent as well! You two are not only guilty of obstructing the path of justice like he said, you two could also be guilty for aiding a criminal, and, as Cat Noir said before,
You can add bodily harm to the charges.
attempting bodily harm! Keyword being attempting. So don't say that you guys haven't done anything wrong, especially after one of you admitting your guilt right in front of an officer, judge, jury, and witness! I'm sorry if I'm screaming a lot, but this really is a huge issue. I get that they're trying to make the moral of not making accusations, but the way that they deliver it is so poor that it's obnoxious. Rogercop is a horrible episode because of this. It's sad when the villain of the day is more morally correct than the heroes we're supposed to be rooting for. In fact, I actually welcome this new ruler. As long as these two are out of the picture, I'll be perfectly happy. Especially when they say lines like this.
How many times have we saved Paris?
We're still saving Paris.
We're still saving Paris. Just... We're still saving Paris. That is the single biggest ego stroke I've ever heard from Ladybug since... What other 3 ego strokes are there?
Me thank him? Please, he should be thanking me. We'd still be trapped if I hadn't told him how to do his job.
Yeah, that! I mean, this is just...
Because it's magic?
levels of what in God's name is wrong with you? How can you still be saving Paris after you've been convicted as Paris's biggest criminal? Answer me, Ladybug! Answer me!
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Okay. My happy pills have kicked in. I've seen this scene an immeasurable amount of times. And I think I'm calm enough to finish this review. So I'll just let my face be normal and move on. So Cat Noir decides to distract the cops by... dancing? What?
Something about Paris just makes you want to dance.
Well, as long as you're not dancing like this,
Look at this fucking.
then I'm perfectly fine. So Ladybug sneaks inside the office and...
Go, Ladybug, go!
Daughter of the mayor, everybody! She'll blow your cover at the worst of times. So Ladybug then uses her lucky charm, and what does she summon this time?
Oven mitts? What am I supposed to do with this?
What is this series' fascination with oven mitts? Oh, so we then get another cool action scene that Cat Noir joins in on later on. Certainly the best part of the episode, aside from this of course, but it isn't saying much. Then Cat Noir pulls out Chloe's bracelet and rolls it onto the floor. Yes, Adrian did get the bracelet off of Plag's head, and Ladybug doesn't question how it got on the floor, or how it went from the school to the mayor's office, or why am I even questioning this episode at this point? So Cat Noir uses his cataclysm to trap Rogercop, Ladybug uses the mitts and a belt to cuff him up, she grabs his whistle and breaks it, releasing the Akuma. Insert status quo you've seen here, turn everything back to normal, and then fist bump.
Pound it! As Rogercop would say, justice has prevailed in the streets of Paris.
Another day, another attack, another victory for the Miraculous duo, and another failed attempt at comedy from Cat Noir himself.
I'd stick around, but then you'd see me without my mask, and you wouldn't be able to resist me.
I doubt that, but I'll have to take your word for it.
Nope! Lost my happy place! I have lost my happy place! It is gone!
Are we having fun yet?
So Ladybug puts Chloe's bracelet back in her purse, Roger finds it and comes up with a cheap theory as to how it ended up getting lost, and the mayor not only hires Roger again, but promotes him to lieutenant. Big freaking whoop, I'm not even paying attention to this. No, I'm paying attention to Ladybug giggling at the sheer obliviousness of Roger, Chloe, and the mayor. Seriously, any hero who finds this much enjoyment in their stupidity deserves to be punched in the... Episode over! Thank God! So that was Rogercop. How's it hold up? Not good at all. Yes, the action is really well done, and I can sympathize with the villain, but that isn't enough to save all of the other problems with this episode. The villain isn't anything special despite being sympathetic, and the setup for this mess is just ridiculous. Seriously, Plag getting Chloe's bracelet stuck on his head? But the worst thing about this episode is the way it tries to deliver the moral of not making accusations. I get what they were trying to say, but they didn't know how to deliver that message, and as a result, it makes this episode a huge mess. Yes, it was interesting to see Ladybug and Cat Noir labeled as criminals, and of course, this scene makes me smile, but even that isn't enough to save what I consider a really bad episode. Overall, this is an episode I'd skip when watching the series again, but if you want to complete the series or are extremely curious, then go ahead and watch it. I won't stop you. You know, I read somewhere that each of these episodes took 3 months to write. You would think that with that amount of time, they would have read over the script and noticed all the little flaws in it. And if it turns out that this entire season was written in 3 months, then it's understandable. Because, being quite honest, this episode just wasn't really that well thought out. It may not be the worst episode in the series, or this season so far. In fact, I definitely take this over Lady Wi-Fi any day. Then again, a trip to the dentist is better than Lady Wi-Fi. But it certainly ranks low. And to all the people who have worked on this particular episode, I'm sorry if I was too harsh on you guys, and I could only hope that you guys continue to make much better episodes in the future. And to anybody who really likes this episode, more power to you. But this is just my opinion, and in my opinion, this episode wasn't really that good, so what's next? Well, this is going to be a good episode to look at, especially since Valentine's Day is coming up. Wait a minute. Never get it up by then. Alright. Next episode is going to be Dark Cupid, and it may or may not be uploaded on Valentine's Day. I'm kind of leaning on the latter because I am really horrible with schedules. So until then, this is ASLB, and I've got nothing else to say other than have a great life, stay miraculous, don't cut yourself, and see ya.
We're still saving Paris.